Imagine remembering a life lived thousands of years ago. That's exactly what happened to Dorothy Eady, a seemingly ordinary English girl who claimed to be the reincarnation of an ancient Egyptian priestess. Did she unlock a forgotten past, or was it all an elaborate illusion? Prepare to have your beliefs challenged as we delve into the extraordinary story of Om Seti, a woman who baffled archaeologists and claimed to hold the secrets of a lost world. What do you believe? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more mind-bending historical mysteries.
On a cold January day in 1907, a child named Dorothy Louise Eady was born in London. She was just a typical English girl, growing up in a quiet suburb, far removed from the dusty sands and ancient secrets of the Nile. But a simple tumble down a flight of stairs when she was just 3 years old would change the course of her life forever. It was a fall that, according to her, didn't just knock the wind out of her, it knocked her back 3,000 years in time. From that moment on, the little girl was consumed by visions of a life she couldn't explain. She spoke of a past filled with grand temples, mighty pharaohs, and a world where she was someone else entirely. Her obsession would lead her to a place where history and belief intertwined, a place she claimed to know from a previous life, ancient Egypt. This is the story of Dorothy Eady, a woman who would become known as Om Seti, the priestess of Abydos, a woman who dedicated her life to proving a truth that many considered impossible, that she was a living link to the very world she had loved in a past life. In the wake of her accident, little Dorothy's personality transformed. She began speaking a language her parents didn't understand and pleading to go home. At first, they believed it was a temporary phase, a child's fantasy. But the fantasies were persistent. A breakthrough came when her father took her to the British Museum. As they entered the Egyptian galleries, Dorothy's eyes lit up. She kissed the feet of the statues and wept, declaring that these were her people. To her parents' bewilderment, she had found her home in a place dedicated to the dead. Her fixation deepened when she saw a photograph of the Temple of Seti I at Abydos. She ran to it, pointing excitedly, and cried out, "That's my home! That's where I live!" The name Seti I seemed to resonate deeply with her, as if it were a long-lost memory. Her family, at a loss for an explanation, eventually sought out a doctor and even a priest, both of whom could offer no help for what they considered an unusual but harmless eccentricity. Dorothy, however, wasn't eccentric. She was simply a girl on a journey to reclaim her past.
As a teenager, Dorothy continued her self-education, devouring books on Egyptology. She worked as an artist, and her sketches and paintings often featured Egyptian themes. It was in London that she found a job with an Egyptian public relations magazine, where she met her future husband, a student named Iman Abdel Megid. He was an Egyptian, and to Dorothy, this felt like an undeniable sign. She married him in 1931, and finally, at the age of 24, she made the journey to Egypt. She had come home. In Cairo, her life truly began. She gave birth to a son whom she named Seti. From that point on, she was known by the name that would define her life, Seti, Arabic for Mother of Seti. She quickly integrated into Egyptian society, learning the language fluently and adopting local dress and customs. She began collaborating with prominent Egyptologists, including the legendary Salim Hassan. Her knowledge of ancient Egypt wasn't just book learning, it was intuitive and profound. She could interpret hieroglyphs and ancient texts with remarkable speed, often providing insights that baffled her colleagues. She would walk into a tomb or temple for the first time and instantly know its layout, pointing to undiscovered passages and identifying carvings with an unnerving accuracy. But Cairo was a mere stop on her journey. Her true destination was Abydos, the very site she had identified as a child. In 1956, she made the pilgrimage there and decided to settle there permanently in a humble mud brick house near the Temple of Seti I. For the next 2 decades, this temple became her entire world. It was here that Seti's story took on its most mystical dimensions. She began to recount the details of her past life. She claimed to have been a girl named Bentrashit, a priestess of Isis, who lived during the reign of Pharaoh Seti I over 3,000 years ago. She said she was the daughter of a common soldier and a vegetable seller, and as a young woman, she was brought to the Temple of Abydos to serve as a priestess. According to her memories, she had a love affair with Pharaoh Seti I, which was a grave sin, as a priestess had to be a virgin. When she became pregnant, she chose to commit suicide rather than face public disgrace, a tragic end that she said was why she had been unable to pass into the afterlife and had to be reborn. Her personal journal, written in the style of an ancient chronicle, detailed these memories. She spoke of secret passages and hidden chambers within the temple, some of which were later discovered. She had conversations with what she believed was the spirit of Seti I, who would visit her at night and reveal secrets of the past. It sounds unbelievable, but many of her revelations proved to be stunningly accurate.
The story of Om Seti presents a profound challenge to modern science and history. For the rational mind, her story is a fascinating case of an exceptionally intelligent and dedicated woman who used her knowledge to create a compelling, elaborate fantasy. Skeptics would argue that her recollections were simply the result of her incredible self-taught expertise, her deep familiarity with the temple, and perhaps a bit of clever guesswork. She was, after all, an expert in her field, and her knowledge of hieroglyphics and temple architecture was second to none. But the evidence she provided is difficult to dismiss entirely. For instance, she once led archaeologists to a garden that was not marked on any map or blueprint. She insisted it was there because it was where she had tended to her plants in a past life. When they excavated the area, they found traces of an ancient garden. In another instance, she correctly identified the precise location of an undiscovered tunnel, explaining its purpose and route in meticulous detail. To the locals and many of her colleagues, these were not lucky guesses. They were proof of something supernatural. She was deeply respected by the community, who called her the Mother of the Temple, and she became a living legend. Her life was a bridge between the ancient world and the modern one, a bridge that was not just metaphorical, but to her, literal.
For the last 2 decades of her life, Seti lived a quiet, simple existence near her beloved temple. She continued her work, documenting its history and acting as an unofficial guide and protector. She died in 1981 at the age of 74 and was buried in a modest grave on a hill overlooking the Nile. Dorothy Eady, or Seti, never wavered in her belief. To the end of her days, she insisted she was Bentreshit, the priestess. Whether you believe her story is a matter of faith, a leap into a world where past lives and ancient spirits are real. But what is undeniable is her incredible contribution to the study of ancient Egypt. She lived a life that blurred the lines between past and present, science and spirituality. Her legacy stands as a fascinating riddle, a testament to the power of memory, or perhaps something far older and more profound.
Whether you believe Dorothy Eady's story is one of a gifted Egyptologist or a soul returned from the past, her life remains one of history's most compelling and beautiful mysteries. She taught us that the line between history and legend is often blurred, and that some questions may never have a simple answer. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you think Seti was truly a reincarnated priestess, or simply an extraordinary woman with a profound connection to the past? Leave your theory in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this journey into the unknown, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more deep dives into the riddles of history. Thanks for watching.